Hi, everybody. You're now experiencing the Gretna Bill Show.
Yeah, it was a good ride yesterday, and man, I needed to get in that metric century. It was about 50% gravel. Saw a lot of good people out there.
Everybody having a good time.
Yeah, and it went off in staggered waves of people. It was innocuous. I mean, at any one given time, there must have been 400 or 500 people there. And at any one given time, I only saw 20, 30, 40 people.
Cool.
And limited small pelotons.
Ruther puts on a good event.
Yeah. In fact, Ruther commented on my Strava. He goes, because I made that one left turn, and I was down a long hill, and Finn was yelling at me. He's like, right. And I thought he was passing me because he can downhill like crazy. So I thought, okay, he's coming on my right. Yep. So I sped up and stayed in the middle lane, and I just was cruising, and all of a sudden I got to a stop sign and nobody's around, and I'm like, oh no. And it was all uphill, back up. So Ruther commented, I said, hey, great race. You only made one left turn. He goes, what were you going to? Victory in Parksburg? And I'm like, that's what it was. It was my beer radar.
You just got drawn.
Yeah, drawn. And my subconscious just took over.
It's all good.
But anyway, yeah, it's good to be back with you, John, Josh. Everything's beautiful here in downtown Timber Hills at the JZ Studios.
It's awesome.
It's an awesome day.
Nice warm weather coming in.
Awesome day in the shower.
But
yeah.
Yesterday, the weekend was beautiful. Great riding in this past weekend in beautiful
stuff.
Central PA.
Great stuff. We're going to do the Giro d'Italia preview show today. But also, John and I have been talking, and there's so many reasons why we love watching cycling. And this year, more than ever, we're watching on GCN, Flow, NBC Sports, all of them.
Yep.
And there's a race almost every day. So that's given us a really good perspective. And so we were saying also that, I still learn stuff every day, not only about strategy within the peloton and within these races, but also strategies of the teams. Because, you got 19 World Tour teams. And, there's sometimes races occurring on at different ends of Europe and different types of races. And, still the gold standard is 7 guys for a team. And so, that's really interesting to watch the classics, the semi-classics.
Yep. Portuguese race starts this week. I think there's something in Spain also, and then the Giro starts Saturday. So these World Tour teams got 3 squads out there right now. I mean, it used to be a luxury to have one bus. Most of these squads now have 2 or 3.
So, therein lies, we've got so many reasons to watch. Like, First of all, let's not forget the travelogue feature. I mean, you get to see this helicopter going over the landscape. We get to see Italy like you've never seen it before. And then remember that this is a huge spectacle, right, John? And this is a huge economic endeavor.
Well,
you've got so many millions. You've got the buses, the team cars. You got the press, the media, the fans.
Even more so than that. I mean, with what Europe's been through with the COVID and stuff, this is such a good kick in the ass for these people to get out and see this, in front of their homes and stuff if the race goes by, or to watch it on their little, because all this stuff is live during the day. I mean, this stuff's live.
Right. It's great. And we urge you guys to get into it. It is so refreshing to watch. So not only do you have the travelogue, but then you go into each of these communities, they pay big bucks to host.
Start and finish towns do.
Right.
Yep, absolutely.
To get those people in there. And so they oftentimes throughout, like the Grand Tour is 23 days, it's 21 days of racing, 2 rest days. They also show and highlight the various cultural, the food, all the
big
structural
houses, the castles, the chateaus.
Yeah, it's just great.
It's awesome.
So you got the travelogue thing going on, and you got the tactics thing going on, which is so interesting. And you can see that develop all season about how these teams are going to put 7 guys on this team, these 19 World Tour teams.
And these riders fight to get on these Grand Tour teams. I mean, it's a big deal to do a Grand Tour. It's really, especially for the young guys, it's huge development for these guys.
And, the strategy unfolds because early in the year, you have a lot of one-day races. They're called the classics. And then you have the sub-classics.
And then you also have all the, 4, 5, 6 day stage races. You got Paris-Nice.
You remember
you have Romandie just ended, which is the big build-up race for the Giro.
Yeah, we got to talk about Roglic. So you've got all this strategy going on. Now, if you got a team, you've got a woman's team.
Most of them do, which is great.
And then you got probably guys racing up in a one-day classic and then guys racing in a 5-day tour. So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of coordination.
Yeah, logistically, I'm sure in the front office, it's pretty incredible to see how the people put together the travel and just not just that, just with coaches with training and stuff.
In addition to learning about tactics and strategy, it's so fun to watch the season develop. And plus, we're in Olympic year this year.
Yep.
But the other thing is that John and I were saying we also learned stuff about our own personal racing that we knew, but we've forgotten sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you keep learning.
So every time I'm looking at the equipment, I'm looking at how the equipment's changing, and I'm looking at different strategies. Like just at Fairhill the other week, I was like, man, everybody's warming up before and afterwards, and I got to do that better than just riding my mountain bike around and talking to people. So I brought my trainer with my gravel bike on.
It's the next step.
It was huge. It was huge to warm up, and then I even cooled down.
Doing it right.
Yeah, but I did have a beer in my hand, but still.
That's okay, though.
So, so of all those reasons, which we just talked about, we also have a new reason this year, and that's gambling. And I'm psyched about this. I've been gambling, Flesh alone. I gambled on all three of the Ardennes. The Ardennes, of course, are Amsterdam.
Wagering on the races.
Wagering on the races, just like they do in Europe for decades.
Absolutely.
So, the week of the Ardennes, there's 3 Ardennes classics, of course. There's it starts with Amstel Gold on Sunday, and then Wednesday is La Flèche Wallonne, and then on that next Sunday is Liège Bastogne Liège, the old lady. I guess the oldest race.
Yeah.
107 years.
1892, I think, was the first one.
So therein lies my trivia question. Name a race that's both a monument race, and there's 5 monument races. We can cover those, but I don't want to give the answer away. And then that's also a monument, and it's also an Ardennes classic.
Send in your answers.
Send in your answers.
That's an easy one for us, but
So, but anyway, I'll quick go over. I'll quick go over the monument races. So you've got Milan San Remo, Paris-Roubaix, which will delayed.
Postponed till October. Fingers crossed.
And then you've got Flanders or Van Vlaanderen, and you've got
Liège Bastogne
Liège, and you've got finally Tour of Lombardy up in northern Italy.
Yep.
So so teams focus on those all year. There's a few people that have won almost all the.
No, there's a couple guys that have won all 5 of them.
Eddie Merckx.
I'm not 100% sure, dude. I'm not 100% sure. Not gonna lie.
What current racers? I think Gilbert's got 4 of them.
He needs Milan San Remo. I unfortunately don't think he's going to get it. I think he announces retirement next year. I think at 39 or 40. I don't think he's going to get it. I mean, out of the current crop of guys, I can absolutely see Matthew van der Poel getting all 5, and I can see Wout van Aert getting all 5, and even possibly somebody like a Remco, a Venepoel, or
so let's talk
Thomas Pidcock.
Let's talk about the beginning of the season. So the beginning of the season is actually kind of the end of the season of cyclocross.
Yep, cyclocross usually ends.
So speaking of Van Aert and Van der Poel.
Yep. And Pidcock.
And also Wouter Pauls.
No, I don't think so.
He doesn't do cross.
No.
All right. So anyway, lead me through that. So you got Christmas time, the holidays, and then you got the wrap up of the cyclocross season, and then it goes right into the classics and the semi.
Yeah, you have World Championships the end of January, beginning of February, and that was won by Matthew again this year.
Yeah. MVP.
And I believe Wout was second, but I'm not positive on that because I've been so immersed in all these classic races and stuff. I kind of forgot about cross. I mean, the first big semi-classic of the year is always Omloop Het Nieuwsblad, which used to be the old Het Vogue back in the day. Ghent was the name of it too. That was won this year by David Ballerini of Deceuninck Quick Step, who's having a great spring like all these.
So they have like 21
wins as of yesterday.
Yeah.
21 wins. There's World Tour teams that haven't gotten any.
as you pointed out, a bunch of seconds and thirds.
Oh,
too. A bunch of podium appearances.
Yeah.
All right, keep rolling.
And then after Het Nieuwsblad, the next day is Colonel Brussels Kernen, and I forgot to write down who won that. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Week after that is Strada Bianchi in Italy, which is quickly becoming a decent classic race.
It certainly is.
Gravel, and by the way, it works right in with the Giro. They're going to be on some of the Strada Bianchi roads in the Giro. There's 2 good sections of gravel in the Giro this year. Legit. So it's going to be really cool.
What, mountaintop passes and stuff?
Nah, just the gravel stuff. So it changes the dynamic of the race big times for those days. But Bianchi was won by Matthew van der Poel. Just huge attack with unbelievable wattage. Go look it up in the last 30K. One kind of solo with Julian Alaphilippe chasing the current world champion with Egan Bernal in third, which was a great ride for him in Wout in fourth. Yep. It's kind of cool to see a Grand Tour kid get on a box of a classic race.
Of a classic for sure.
A couple weeks after that was Milan-San Remo.
Because you don't see the opposite.
No, you don't. Milan-San Remo a week and a half later, I believe, and that was won by Jasper Stuyven after just huge attacks up the Poggio.
And he's no youngster either.
No, he's late 20s. I mean, he's coming into his own with Trek Segafredo, and Caleb Ewing was right there, Wout in third with Peter Sagan in fourth. Sagan started showing a little bit of life there. I think Peter's going to have a really good year this year.
Yeah, and then he carried that into Romanday.
He carried it into...
He got 2-stage win. Who
I
was
can't
before
think of the
Romanday?
race.
There's so many folks. GCN Plus, man. Global Cycling Network Plus got everything.
A couple weeks after that in Belgium, you had the 3 days at the Panner, which is now 1 day. Brugge de Panne, which was won by Sam Bennett in a sprint. Always comes down to a sprint. Jesper Philipsen took a second with Pascal Ackermann in third. Philipsen rides for the Alpecin Phoenix team, which is Matthew van der Poel's team.
So here's the deal. There's in most of these Grand Tours, and of course the classics and the Ardennes classics and the monuments, you're going to see the 19 World Tour teams. That's what they pay their money for.
Yep.
And then in addition to that, there's another level underneath World Tour teams. There's the Pro Continental. And so the team that has the most UCI points, that's not a World Tour team, they're
automatic.
They're automatic.
Yeah, they're automatic forever.
This year, that's Phoenix Alpecin.
Phoenix Alpecin won that,
and they are the 20th team. So keep in mind that the Grand Tour is going to definitely have 19 World Tour teams of 7 guys each,
plus 3 or 4 wild cards.
And then they're going to have Alpecin or Phoenix Alpecin.
Yeah, almost always.
Always, because they're the top Pro Continental team. And so that's 7 more. So now you're up to 20. And then they usually throw in the local Italian teams that are Pro Continental.
Well, for the Giro, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But for the Giro this year, it's going to be the Andoria
and Andronina Giacottoli.
Yeah, there you go.
They're a toy manufacturer.
And they
Androni Giacottoli. They're a toy manufacturer.
Yeah, they got in as a second wild card because the team that was originally in, I can't think of the name of the team, and it doesn't matter, got popped because they had a couple guys test positive. That guy test positive, so they got flicked. So they're in it. They got like the best dressed Giovanni Savani or whatever. Great. This dude's always looking top shelf, man. He looks like he just stepped out of a multi-million-dollar
And who else
store.
Is in there that you know?
The Bardiani.
Bardiani CSF. They used to ride Guerciati.
Yeah.
But
and
now,
I think the other wild card team was Alberto Contor's new team, Elio Cameta from Spain. And I think
so the Italians let a Spanish team in.
Well, Ivan Basso's hooked up with them too.
Got it.
As a director or as like a manager.
That makes sense.
But no, it's going to be, those teams, it's a price.
So they're what?
The French
25 teams? 25 times 7?
No, it wouldn't be 25. I think it's
24.
23.
23 times 7, whatever, is 140, and 21 is 161.
Yeah, those guys are all getting ready to start on Saturday, individual time trial. But getting back to the classics.
Where's that going to be at?
Somewhere in Italy. I don't know.
No, I think it starts in...
I think it starts in Italy.
Geneva.
Look that up real quick. And I'll do the...
all right, keep going.
Yeah.
It's Geneva, dude.
Week after De Panne was a GPE3, which was won by Casper Asgreen, which should have been a premonition of what to come.
He's DQT, right?
Another win for DeConnick, and then Matthew van der Poel came in third with Florian Seneschal in second with DQS. Gent-Wevelgem in the midweek was a great race. Big group got away. Wout won that with
that was a good race.
It was a very good race.
Gent-Wevelgem.
Yeah, Gent-Wevelgem was a really good race.
Now that's a semi-classic.
Yep. And it's always been one to win. Trenton was in there, Nizzolo was in there. Then the middle of the week going into Flanders was Dwars door Vanderland, which is another big semi-classic over there. And that was won by Dylan van Bar of Ilios, a Dutchman. He got away in the last 10K or so and soloed in, which was
what
cool.
a surprise, a Dutchman, right?
Yeah. Flanders was real good this year. Awesome little group split away. Casper Asgreen on DQS and Matthew Vanderpool rode away from him in the last time.
What a group, huh?
Jeez. Up to Paterberg. Whatchamacallit, Wout couldn't go with it, and it ended up being Casper outkicked MVP on the final long straight. Into Onelard, and then Greg Van Avermaet got third, which kind of saved his spring a little bit. And then you have Bravis and Peel, which you got into the Hillary stuff.
Right. That did save it.
Yep, Bravis and Peel, midweek stuff. Thomas Pidcock opened his account, got his first decent road win with him in photo finish with him in GVA or him in.
Comment on that line and the virtual line a little bit on UCI.
We'll get to that next race.
Amstel
Gold. Yeah, I mean, back to back, the same guys, same protagonists involved in a photo finish. The Bravis and Peels on a Wednesday and Amstel Gold's on a Sunday, and it was reversed. Wout and Pidcock took it to the line, and it was a photo finish. And I mean, the jury, it's close. I mean, it was within a couple millimeters. Yeah, it was really. I mean, it's typical UCI.
So who won that then?
Wout got Amstel Gold, Pidcock second. And in the middle of the week was Fletch Lalonde with Julian making a great, he chased down Primos.
He's been silent up until then.
Yeah, Julian opened, he got another Fletch win. He's won it before with Valverde, the old man, 41 years old, brings in third.
Dude, I was so psyched for that. And we talked about that.
Oh, yeah.
So Valverde was way back, like 25th, coming into the last.
Jumped up the sidewalk,
jumped up on the sidewalk on the uphill climb. And then the most impressive part was, so you got the peloton and they're going towards the line, maybe 500-600 meters. And he comes off the sidewalk and he doesn't, his pedal would have clipped that sidewalk.
He was close.
Yeah,
he was close.
But it was totally pro and he just sneaked in there and then he got third, 41 years old.
It was cool.
Awesome.
And then week after that was, or a couple days after that was the age best only age. Group of 5 gets away in the last 20K and Julian played it perfect. Last year he raised his hands too soon and got pipped at the line by Primos. And this year he played it perfect, but he left Taddy Protocar behind him. And Taddy came around him at the line and beat him. And Julian second with David Gaudu in third, which is a guy we'll talk about this summer for sure. Yeah, FDJ.
FDJ, right.
I think if he doesn't crack under the pressure of the French press, I mean, David is going to definitely be.
He may be the best French hope.
He's definitely
because we haven't heard from Pino at all.
No, his guys are going. And real quick, the team, my feeling of the teams of the springs that did the best this spring was definitely DeCunit Quick-Step always. They got 21 wins. I figure the spring ended yesterday with the Tour of Romandie. Now with the Giro starting this week.
So
now we get into
quickly on the Tour of Romandie. So first of all, it illustrates the importance of the time trial in any.
Well, they got 2 of them in that, which is kind of surprising for Switzerland. Shitty weather the last couple days, brutally cold. If you haven't seen. Garrett Thomas and Michael Woods were away going to the finish on Saturday, and it was that cold, that miserable,
and raining.
Thomas got up to more than likely win the sprint.
Literally 40, 50 feet.
Oh, yeah. And then he had no feeling in his hands, and he slipped off the bars and went down. And
couldn't even get up and walk his bike over.
Michael Woods, we got up close enough to save to stay close, but Michael Woods won that stage on Saturday for Israeli startup, and yesterday, G didn't win the time trial, but I think he was on the box in the time trial.
Yeah, he was third.
It was Florian Sanishel, I believe, won the TT yesterday for DeCunit Quick-Step. That was their 21st win.
No, it was a Cavagna.
No, it was Remy Cavagna.
It was Remy Cavagna.
Correct. And well, they're both going to the Giro, so it segs in.
And then how about Richie
he beat the world champion? Yeah, Richie Port looked real good.
So there you go again. Richie Port.
Felipe Pagano was there.
We talked about it. So as we go into the Grand Tour, the first one, the Giro d'Italia starts on Saturday with a prologue, a time trial. We've been talking about this all year. There's only about a half a dozen or so people that are equipped to win a Grand Tour, right?
For sure.
And so, yesterday with 2 time trials last week in the Tour of Romandie, you got Richie Port and, Geraint Thomas won it, of course, and he did it by making up 11 seconds in the time trial on the first day.
Yeah.
On the last day, the one he lost before that in the mountains. So my point is you got to be able to time trial, and it's so important, or you can't win a Grand Tour. So, really quick before we forget, who are those 6-7 people that can possibly win a Grand Tour?
You ask me this every time we get together, Billy. I think you're composing a secret internet program.
I'm checking you, man. I'm checking you
for online betting. Yeah, I think it changes. I mean, I think there's always 4 or 5 guys that can win a Grand Tour. I mean, you got to put the past winners in there that are currently racing. Guys like G, guys like Egan
Bernal,
Garrett Thomas.
Richie Port?
Yeah,
we always talk that.
I don't
probably
think so
not.
Anymore.
He can't descend for
anymore.
shit. Even Horner was talking about it.
He's happy being like a super domestique now. You got to put Primos in there. You got to put Taddy Pogacar in there.
And what about this? Everybody wants this.
And the Yates boys.
Remco Evenepoel.
Yeah. We'll see what Remco does starting Saturday.
We've never seen
Simon Yates won the Velta, so I mean he's got to be listed in there in my opinion. So
why haven't we seen Remco? We haven't seen him race at all.
Hurt. He's been kind of tweaked from his crash at Lombardy in the fall. He broke his pelvis or whatever on that going over the bridge.
As you'll see later on, when we look at the odds for him. He's right up there.
But I think Remco, he should be. I mean, we'll see what he does starting Saturday and. De Koenig's bringing a team with for him to win that race. I mean, they're bringing there are no sprinters. They're not bringing any sprinters with this year at all, which is strange for them.
Very strange.
But
is De Klerk in there to drive the train or not till the Tour?
No, I think he's just doing the Tour. I didn't see him listed on the thing. And again, we're still a couple days out. I mean, they have some substitutions if somebody gets sick or something. I mean, they haven't gone through the COVID protocol yet, so who knows? This is a dicey week for these races coming up. Now we'll see what the. We remember last fall when the Giro was, the Italians didn't do such a hot job with the bubble. The French, the ASO did real good job. The ASO did a great job at the Tour and the Velta. So we'll see what happens at the Giro. I expect them to have their shit together this week for sure. But you never know. I mean, it's Italy. But real quick, right. I wrote this down. Obviously, DQS Team of the Spring. Alpecin Phoenix was right up there. I mean, it wasn't just a Matthew Van Der Poel show this spring. They put some guys on the box. They had some Tim Merlier, who's going to the Giro. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't get a stage. You got to put Ilios in there as a Team of the Spring. They had a really good spring. They showed that they're, have multi-facets there. The losers, without a doubt, Lotto Soudal had a terrible spring. I mean, I'm not even sure they were on the box other than Caleb Ewing's Milan San Remo, which doesn't really count for them because it's not a Belgian race. So, and then you have Intermarché Monty Group, first year in the Pro Tour. They haven't won shit yet this year. I mean, I'm sure it's starting to get a little dicey in the bus. They've been in the breakaways. They've showed themselves really well, but man, they got to get a win.
Movistar looks like they're up to their usual. Yeah, really strong teams, but they don't get the
Mark Solar had a great Romandy, and he's going right into the Giro. He won that stage.
Mark Solar is a good point.
You got to factor that UAE and Jumbo had pretty decent springs. Obviously Wout, and in UAE just winning Liège, best Stone Liège was awesome.
And they won Romandie.
Protocar, and then. I got to throw a shout out to the little Belgian team in the fluorescent yellow, Bingo Pal Salsa. They had a guy in every break in every race this spring. So they definitely got a lot of, you forget that these races are on live for hours and hours
and
hours.
What's your cup say today?
My cup says the Porch and Pantry.
And I've got the Jigger Shop. Yeah. Thanks, Josh.
Two great
Hazelnut,
downtown Gretna businesses. I think the Jigger Shop's opened. Josh, are they open? Did they open yet or not? Okay. The end of this month. They're going to do the normal open at Memorial Day. Yeah, definitely.
So I was talking to Irk yesterday, and he said they raised over $7,000 at the Kentucky Derby party at the Hideaway. So kudos to Alan and everybody.
Go on and check the great pictures out on Mount Gretna Life on Instagram, I believe. Is it Mount Gretna Life on Instagram?
Yeah,
awesome pictures from the man behind the camera, our boy Josh, producer extraordinaire. And you get to see my cohort here, Gretna Bill, holding court at the Hideaway. He's only been doing that for about 30 years now.
At least 30.
Truly the patriarch of Mount Gretna, without a side. And his propaganda minister, Josh, from Josh Zierig Studios.
By default. Yeah, folks. So remember that on your screen, Josh is going to be flashing FanDuels and DraftKings. And what you want to do is get involved by betting. And to get started, if you tap on and subscribe to those links, then you will be referred by me, by Gretna Bill. You will get a $50 stash to bet with. And as long as you use some of that money to bet with, Don't withdraw it and go buy yourself free beers, but bet with it within 28 days, like during the Giro, then that $50 is yours. So it's a great thing to do, and it'll keep you involved. And I urge you guys to go on maybe both sites, actually, if you can get in there. It's a limited time offer. So again, FanDuel, DraftKings, get on the link that Josh is showing behind me now, and let's get after it. All right, we're back. And sponsor break. Who we got for our sponsors?
Lupine Lights, Lupine North America.
Deluxx Bikes, Josh Airing Studios. And also a shout out, and we'll explain to you how you can get involved, is FanDuel and DraftKings. And both of those websites have gambling on the Giro and on the Tour de France. And they also, of course, all year we've been talking, I've been lucky to win some money on getting some guys on the podium on Flesh Alone, Amstel Gold.
You had a pretty good spring, Billy.
Yeah, I hit some good stuff. They were kind of obvious, but yeah.
I mean, it was good that you didn't have to visit Vito and have to cover your vig on the week or something. I was a little worried about you there for a while that you might have to hide out at the shop or something.
I was in deep. I was in deep.
But we spoke about and again, we talk about Lupine Lights, and just because it's daylight savings time and it's light out till 8:30 or whatever, get that good, really good blinky light on the back so you can be seen.
Yes, please.
Lupine makes all the best lighting in the world.
We have these great tail lights that crank out the watts, and more importantly, they have accelerometers built into the tail light. So that means when you start to slow down in traffic or whatever,
they get brighter.
They go from blink, blink, blink to solid bright, and it's very impressive.
Yeah, they're top shelf.
There's the Pico all-in-one kit. Josh is going to be doing a photo shoot on those, correct? Coming up.
Yeah. Quality German-made product. I mean, the Germans got it dialed in. They make, I
use the accelerometer because, like, if somebody's in front of me and they have a Lupine tail light, a Rotlich, they start to slow, so they're getting away from me on the climb, and all of a sudden I see it go blink, 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 and then start to go solid
focus
red.
on that light.
Yeah, and then I know, I go, oh, they're wilting. They're dropping anchor.
He knows it, man. He knows it.
Yes.
It's the power of Chief Wahoo.
Yeah.
We respect our Native American elders.
Go
here
Indians.
On the Gretna Bill show.
They're still the Indians, aren't they?
Yeah, well, for the time being.
All right.
But we got two hard third week at the Giro like usual. They could get some really crappy weather. Like I said, 7 mountain stages. I think it's going to be
one of the time trials besides the prologue, obviously.
Well, you got the first one. I believe this year there's 2 other ones, 2 legit time trials. I'm not positive on that.
That's
I think we'll have more on the next show as the race starts and goes on. But I'll read while you're doing that, Billy. The favorites for this year, no particular order. I mean, the GC guys could possibly be there. Go ahead.
All right. So for the Giro, and again, you guys can get involved out there, and it won't cost you anything if you're the first 10 to subscribe. You go on to the link that Josh is going to post behind us here soon now, and it'll be FanDuel or DraftKings. And what you do is you go to that link, right, Josh? Yeah. And then you log on, and you will be referred by us, me and John, and you will get $50 to bet with. Now, it's not like you can get the $50 and then
you got to
withdraw it. You got to use it, and you got to use it within 28 days.
But you can parlay that into nice little
thousands. You can retire early.
If you hit it big, don't forget the Gretna Bill show.
So, and don't forget to subscribe, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And we're going to keep you posted on all this. So, anyway, when you go to FanDuel, okay, for the Giro d'Italia, it starts right at the top. The favored rider is Egan Bernal. John, and I was hoping you could comment on it. What do you think about it? Good team, first of all.
Yeah, they're bringing a team to win it. I mean, they want to win the Giro again.
Who else is with them?
I didn't write it all down because they're going to be all rallied behind him. I don't know if they have I'll have to look. I don't think, well, give me a second here and I can tell you. But no, he's been training in Colombia the whole time. Since probably most of the spring, to be honest with you.
And you can bet these. You can bet him to win. And in his case, it's one.
And you could do podium, I think.
It's 1-2 or 1-3 odds. I mean,
yeah.
So basically, Vegas is saying Egan Bernal all the way, and that's kind of a little bit of a risk because he, All
right, Bernal. They're bringing Castro Viejo, Filippo Ganna, they're bringing for the TT's current world time trial champion. He did get beat at Romandy, but I think he's ramping his form up. I think he'll be really good at the Giro.
I think Italian. You're right. Yep.
You got Daniel Martinez, who will be there. Johnny Moscone, who's won a couple stages.
He's in good form.
The bad boy sprinter will be right there working hard. You got Salvatore Puccio, Pavo Sinkoff, and Ivan Sosa. They got a really solid team there. They got one leader. I mean, they're definitely going to be all around Egon, which is how it's supposed to be.
He's 1 to 3 odds, let's say. Yep. And then second on the list is Remco Evenepoel, and he is 1 to 4. Now, DQT. Tell me about him because we haven't seen him at all, John. What do you know about him?
Got hurt, broke his, cracked his pelvis or something in the crash at Lombardy in the fall. And he's just been training. I mean, I follow him on all the social media platforms and stuff. He's just, he knows what he's doing. He's young, though. He's only like 20 or 21 years old.
So think about this, folks. Here you got Bernal, who has raced very little, and Evenepoel hasn't raced at all. And Vegas has them number 1, number 2 in terms of odds to win the Giro.
Well, and then you look at the team they're bringing. They're bringing no sprinters. They're bringing all workers. They're bringing all climbers. I mean, I don't know who will direct the team at the Giro. It won't be the Classics guys. It'll because they got a ton of directors. But they're looking for sponsorship too. Now I think the KG old.
Now remember, there's reason to watch it every day because
you never know what's going to happen.
Because Vegas is that quick on a couple of races. I forget. I think Roglic either crashed or something, right? And I had him on one of my bets, and I was looking at it, and so as soon as he crashed, I'm like, okay, he's not winning. And I went to the odds, and they already pulled the odds.
They do this for a living, Billy. They're good at it.
Yeah. So so you can follow it all, and you can change your bets all 21 days. It's very exciting.
So you can win each day.
And you can win each day, right?
Because each day.
Each day is going to be, each day is going to bet. And you can not only bet to win, but you could bet podium and top 10.
Well, you got to remember at the Giro, they give 38 jerseys out every day. They give a jersey out to the guy takes the biggest dump in the morning and everything else.
So number 3, at also the same odds as Remco, is Simon Yates of Bike Exchange.
Yeah.
So what's the deal there?
Well, I mean, he's a past Grand Tour winner. I mean, he won the Vuelta the other year, I believe. And they're another team that's bringing a team completely. Let me find them here. Yeah, I mean, the whole team's built around him. They don't really have a whole lot of climbers, like high climbers on, high mountain climbs. So he's going to be isolated for sure.
Yeah.
But they got guys that can stick with him on the gravel stages, which are going to be dangerous, and they do some epic climbing this year too. I mean, we'll get into that.
And this is all FanDuel, and we'll go over to the other site, DraftKings, in a moment. So then they've got at number 4 at 1 to 11 odds to win the whole thing is Emmanuel Buchmann.
Nah, he's not going to win this.
I've never seen him time trial.
He could be on the box, but I don't see.
Okay, here's another one that I'm not.
If Sagan gets a stage race earlier too, they'll just throw everything behind him. Unless Buchmann's got really good numbers, and then they'll go from there. But the team looks to be built more around Peter than it is built around him. I mean, I'm looking at their lineup now, and that could change. But they only have 1 or 2 guys who can be with him in the high mountains, and that's going to be a problem.
All right. How about this? This guy I haven't seen at all, and I keep asking you about him. Alexander Vlasov. He's 1 to 15.
Yeah, he's Astana's hope. That's they're bringing a team. They're bringing a decent team with. You got Luis Leon Sanchez, and you got one of the Izagiri brothers.
What about Lutsenko? Is he in there?
No, not at all. He's a flatland guy. He'll probably be at the Tour going for stage wins, but this is, Astana is primarily an Italian team, even though they're Kazakh registered, and they got Canadian Premier Tech,
Kazakhstan.
And they got a Canadian co-sponsor. Steve Bauer's in the car sometimes, old classic guy from back in the day. Good one.
So at 1 to 16 next is Mikel Landa. Thoughts?
Nah. That ship has sailed. I've said that for a while now. I don't think Landa. I'm looking at Bahrain Victorious's lineup, and they have some really solid guys there. But I just, Landa,
nobody to be with them in the mountains.
Landa will be a top 10.
All right. Next is 1 to 18 odds is Hugh Carthy. Thoughts?
He had a really good Vuelta last year. He just had the last week. Romandy was good. Romandy was solid.
How did he do in the time trial? I can't remember.
He can't time trial, so it doesn't.
All right, here's another name.
He'll be there or thereabouts. He'll be a top 5 guy probably.
Here's another name. Pavel Sivakov, 1 to 21 odds.
But he's on Ineos, so unless something happens, he's on Ineos.
He's just a backup, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably their plan B if something happens to Bernal. I mean, and again, that could change this week. If you just never know. At this level.
So then
there's a couple dark horses. Go ahead. Let's see.
And 1 to 27, we got Jai Hindley. Thoughts?
Hey, I mean, right there. I mean, I can't imagine he won't be a top 5 guy. I don't
He's
know if
on
he
DSM, right?
He's on DSM. They're bringing a decent team for him. He showed well last year, I think, at the Giro. So
DSM was formerly what?
Sunweb.
Yeah.
I think he's leaving at the end of this year. So obviously there's some internal problems there. They lost Mark Hershey.
So what's the deal with Sunweb? They're almost like a farm team.
Something's going on internally there. It's just the way they do things just doesn't work with some of these guys, and they move on to usually bigger paychecks and greener pastures. There's 2 guys, unless they're listed on your sports book there. You got to kind of factor in Dan Martin a little bit with Israeli startup. Martin's showing decent form. He claims that this is the best he's ever been in his career, which, these guys don't lie. I mean, their peers around them know when they're going good or they're not.
All right, let's take a look at DraftKings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 1, same odds, 1 to 3, Egan Bernal up top.
Yep.
And, they right now, as it stands, they eventually both will show top 3 probably, but DraftKings is better at showing not only the winner, but the top 3 and also the top 10. So they've got top 3 bets. So you can get the podium or the winner. Now, next is a little bit different than what they had on FanDuel. It's Simon Yates at second at 1 to 4 odds. Okay, at third, they've got Remco at 1 to 4 odds.
Yeah, that's solid.
So basically, what I'm saying there is you can get better odds if you study this. If you want to go with Remco, you can get better odds here than you can on FanDuel. So if you want to get on both of those sites, it's kind of cool if you've got a favorite because you want to try to get the best odds. Then they got Emmanuel Bookman in there again, John. I'm not seeing it. 1 to 11 odds. The guy's a good stage racer, and he's due to have, he's got to have a breakout ride. I've never seen him time trial worth of shit, though. Have you?
He's solid, but he's not going to beat the guys at the top. But there's really no great time trialists of the GC guys this year in the Giro. So
not like Geraint Thomas.
No, not like G, not like at the level
Richie
of the world.
Port even.
Yeah, Richie Port had a great ride yesterday, but he's going to the Tour. So,
all right, and then at 1 to 14 odds, you got or 1 to 12 odds, you got again that Alexander Vlasov.
They're all in for him. I mean, if he has a good first week,
who's he got with him? Anybody that I know?
As far as on Astana,
yeah.
I don't know here. I mean, he does. I mean, but again, it's all going to depend. It's all going to depend on. It's all going to depend on how his first week goes. If he has a solid first week,
and then
he's definitely got a good team with him that'll be there at the end.
All right, at 1 to 14, you got Hugh Carthy again, and then here's a new name.
He had a good Veldas, so that's why he had a good Tour of Spain last year. So I think it's one of the and Hugh is good. I mean, Hugh can climb. He'll be there at the end. Would it surprise me if he's standing on the box in 4 weeks as a top 3 guy? Not at all.
So then next at 1 to 16 odds, they got a new name in there that's different than FanDuel. This is DraftKings. It's at Yael Almeida.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely Dakota Quickstep's backup. He showed it again. I think he's going to be moving on next year to a different team. Dakota started spending some money.
1 to 18, they got Pavel Sivakov again.
Yeah.
Then 1 to 22, Jai Hindley. 1 to 33 is a new name, Daniel Philippe Martinez. Thoughts?
Yeah. Well, again, he's on Ilios, so that would have to be the 3rd or 4th plan.
And then here's an interesting pick. They got it 1 to 40 is George Bennett.
Yeah, I wanted to get the Bennett with Jumbo. I mean, he has a shot to actually lead a team. They're not bringing any of their heavyweights with. Jumbo's team is a bit of a miss of a little bit of everything. And I think Dylan Gruendel's on the team. Oh, coming back from his suspension and his crash.
He showed some good form here. What was it?
Well, he hasn't raced since fall because he had that crash with, so he had that crash with Fabio Jakobsen, who's coming back to racing again this week after having a really good Tour of Turkey. Coming back, with Mark Cavendish, who picked up 3 or 4 stage wins.
So then at 1 to 40 again is Vincenzo Nibali. We just talked about Valverde
or whatever the other week. He's not going to start.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's out. I can't believe they haven't fixed that.
No, I can't believe it either. And then they got Roman Bardet at 1 to 50.
I mean, if you want to throw a quid on it and see what you end up with, a 5 or something, you might get lucky.
Well, and then, I would think...
But they're not going to win.
They got Bob Mollema.
Nah.
But then at 1 to
he's my
these
favorite
are all
internet
1 to 50, 1 to 50. And then how about Marc Soler at 1 to 50?
That, I don't think he wins the thing, but he can get in the box for sure.
They got a good team organization, those guys.
Yeah, they do, but they gotta get their shit together. I mean, they only had 2 wins last year. I think they got 2 wins already this year.
1 to 66 to win. That Dan Martin. What do you think about Dan Martin?
He's on good form. Just mentioned him earlier with this Israeli startup. They're bringing they're bringing a team to. That would be a turn up for the books because I don't think they're going to get anything out of Chris Froome.
Ciccone and then Formolo, and then we mentioned him earlier, Fausto Masnada at 1 to 100.
Yeah, had a great race yesterday. Great TT to end up the Romandy.
Boy, that might be a good pick.
Throw a $5 on him, Billy. You never know what can happen.
I'm definitely going to put him on the podium. Because he was on the podium yesterday.
In the TT. He was on he wasn't podium on the overall.
No.
That's the problem. These guys, with the 7 mountain stages, you got to look at what they've done before on these mountaintop finishes and shit. If they're losing 10 minutes at a time or 8 minutes at a time because they're working for somebody else,
so there you have it. Game. That's why it's so
There's
hard.
So many,
that's why you
that's why I know that's why you enjoy it because it makes you think. It makes you work. It makes you really stop and look and who's. You got to go back and look at the last year or two, which it's really tough to even go by last year as a gauge because of the weird season starting the end of July. A lot of things can happen. I mean, I think the Giro is going to set the precedent for the Grand Tour season. It's going to be good. I think we're looking at an incredible tour because a lot of guys are going to be going to the Olympics. So guys are going to be pulling out after the first or second week in France. So it'll be interesting to see there. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Speaking of coming back, was that Felix Groschartner.
Yeah, another guy was out with injuries, and he's another one that'll be there.
1 to 300 odds.
Yeah, but I mean, he'll be there with Bora working for whatchamacallit, your favorite. So Emmanuel Buchmann. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think you're seeing a shift at Bora as far as the team and who's on it. And I think Sagan probably leaves the team at the end of this year and takes some of his people with him.
Who's Jumbo got?
Jumbo's got George Bennett.
Yeah,
and they got us. And they got Dylan Gruendow coming for the sprints. Are they
sending Tony Martin to pull for him?
No, I don't think so. I don't think their squad.
So a moment about Chris Horner. I've been liking watching Chris Horner, the Butterfly Effect, and he stresses this thing that you can make a lot of mistakes early on in the race, and you can make up for them. But the point of it is, which we always got to remember, even like yesterday, I found myself doing a couple stupid moves that cost me energy, and you think it's not a big deal, but it is in a long day.
At this level it is.
And that's what the butterfly effect. Horner's good with that. He watches and he says, there's a mistake. There's a mistake. So, and those things add up over there. Like, for example, I'll give you a good example. I wanted to start this ride yesterday, and I wanted to stay with a Peloton and get some draft going early on while I'm warming up.
Sure.
And so I didn't know we were starting right away, so I didn't have my Strava on. And so all of a sudden I realized that we were already on course, and I'm like, shit. So there was like 30 people in front of me, including Finn, and I got to stop and start my Strava. And then I looked up, and they were way down the road. And so already I'm playing catch up into the wind.
Burning matches,
as Horner would say. So it seems like not a big deal, but just those things add up.
100K it is,
Yeah.
Getting real back to Jumbo real quick. They're bringing kind of a sprint squad with Bennett. Bennett's going to be isolated. Bennett is going to definitely have to surf
do it
the
on
wheels.
His own up in the mountains.
Do it on his own because there's no real climbers. I mean, there might be one, but I mean, as far as looking at their lineup right now, they're going to be going after sprint stages with David Decker and Dylan Groenewegen. And one team I want to touch on real quick, and you'll like this, is Lotto Soudal. They'll definitely get a stage winner too with Caleb, but they also are bringing with the breakaway expert, Thomas de Gent.
I love that guy.
So he's gotten, he's been on the box at the Giro. He's been a third.
For you guys that don't know him, he's been around a while, and he either rides in the front on a break or in the back.
Or he's sitting on the back. He's like Billy's spirit animal in the pro peloton.
He actually likes to not do well in the first couple of stages, so that
loses time.
So therefore, right? So then the peloton will let him go because those breaks are going to form every day. And they never let a favorite or somebody that's top 10 get in the break by himself.
I can see him going after the mountains jersey. Let's touch on the Americans in the race here real quick. I'm
good
scrolling
idea.
down through here. We got Larry Warbasse. He's been around a long time with AG2R Citroen, with AG2R, and Going down through here, I saw a couple others. There's more than a few
How's?
this year, which is good. Hang on. We'll get there in a second. We got Will Barta on EF Education, and we have the TJ Vanguard and Super Domestique finally starting. And I think you'll see
he's still on EF.
Yeah, I mean, he'll have a good race for Hugh.
They're on Cannondale's too. That's a good American team.
And then you go down through, you get to Movistar has Matteo Jorgensen, who had a really good spring. I think he'll show himself really well in this. I think it's his first Grand Tour, but I'm not positive on that. And then you go down through, and I think that's about it. No, we got Joe Dombrowski starting with UAE, and he's a guy we'll see in the mountains from Virginia, Joe. And he'll be right there or thereabouts. Probably get
who's he working for?
UAE. Well, he'll be working for David Formulo, but I think by the third week he'll be on his own. And they got a solid team. I mean, they're bringing a decent team, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, you got some good sprinters coming. You got Eub, you got Sagan, you got Giacomo Nizzolo, and you have Viviani, which will surf the wheels, going for a stage win or two, and you got Tim Melier from Alpecin Phoenix will be probably. That would make their whole deal if they could get a stage win for sure. So, 80% of the teams coming to the Giro are coming. If they get a stage win or two, it'll make their whole season, especially the Italian teams, the second division Italian teams.
All right. So, all right, here's who I have. I've got Simon Yates, and I've got Remco Evenepoel, and I got Bernal.
You going Yates to win it?
I got all those guys to win on the podium. So obviously, if like the favorites win, like Bernal wins, I end up not really winning money.
Yeah.
But I haven't really got a long shot in there. Again, I think a long shot is Vasilov because I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, I mean,
it's bet $10 to win 140.
I think he is a long shot if he stays out of trouble the first week and doesn't lose a whole lot of time due to a crash or something or due to the stuff around him. He's going to be there. I mean,
so who's your favorites?
My favorite for the Giro. I mean, it's a little early to call a favorite, but I got to go with Egan if his back's all right. If his back's not hurting him, he's going to be there. I mean,
he's got the team around him.
Yeah, they know how to win these races. So their support structure, everything they do is top shelf. I got as much as the fact that he hasn't raced all year. I got to look at Remco as an outside for the win. I mean, it would be a turn up for the books if he could get this win. But Remy definitely has had a good. He's had a good build up, and we've seen already this spring these guys can do their training, the scientific way of training, and show up at these races and be really good. I mean, Primoz right now won't race again till the Tour. I mean, he's on a little bit of a vacation right now.
They're either going to altitude and then they'll go to altitude.
And he'll do his thing and he'll show up at the Tour and he'll be a top 3 guy at the Tour. And I don't think Prodicar is doing a whole lot more than that. He'll probably do the Dauphiné. He'll do, some of the lead up races. But things have changed.
Josh, who do you like?
I don't know.
Okay, good
He
answer.
likes the Gretna Bills show.
He likes the coffee.
Absolutely.
So, there you have it, folks. FanDuel, get on there and check it out, and get your app and get your free $50. And same with DraftKings, and place your bets, folks. Let's get into this. I already placed a bet. I told John, and now the odds are way down because he just won. Primoz just won, of course, Raimondi, and
Garrett Thomas just won Rome.
I mean, sorry. Garrett Thomas. So I got Garrett Thomas
for the Tour
about a month ago for the Tour de France, and I got 9-1 odds, which they ain't going to be anymore.
No. They'll be 3 or 4 to 1.
So I put like $50 down, so I got a chance to win $450 if G wins the Tour, but the odds are already going down. So if you want to get some of your favorite picks in now for the Giro. And then the Tour, the earlier you go in, and you could still change those.
It's really,
even just bet, $4 or $5. That's what I do.
The cool thing about it is it also makes you do a little research. It makes you kind of go back and look at these different races from in the past, especially last year. I think you can't really go past last year. It's really hard to go past what happened last year because the season ended so late, mid-late November. Most of these guys didn't get a whole lot of a break, but the younger guys are showing that they don't need that. They don't need that 4 or 5 week off the bike stuff. They're going right back into it. They're training really hard. You look at what Matthew and Wout and some of these guys that have done cross. right into road season have done really well. I want to mention Pitcock did his first mountain bike race yesterday for Ineos Grenadiers, and he did a Swiss Cup race and won by, I think, 3 minutes.
Who is going to the Olympics in mountain bikes this year?
Well,
besides Pitcock.
Pitcock is, Matthew Vanderpool is, and then all the usual suspects from the mountainside. They're going to have their hands full. I mean,
Nino
guys like
Schurter still?
Yeah, Nino and they're going to have their hands full with Matthew Vanderpool. I think he really wants to win that gold medal. He wants to kind of check that off his list. And then I think if he does get a gold medal, if he does win in Japan this year, I expect Matthew to completely throw everything into the road season.
Into the road then.
Yeah.
So, all right, there you have it. There you have it. So I urge you folks to get in there and get involved and get your bets in. Throw a quid here and there on your favorite riders, and then just watch the tour, the Giro every day. Giro d'Italia every day is just going to be fantastic. Just great viewing. If you're working from home in your office, put that on in the background
put
and
another screen up.
Throw a couple of quid on there, and it's just going to be fun, and beautiful.
There's some Brit somewhere watching us laughing his ass off.
I know.
Who cares?
So, who are you? I mean, how are you going to watch this?
I don't know if I'm going to get a streaming service. I've been talking to my brother from another mother from Philadelphia, Mark Featherman, about, because he's the cheapest man alive and he knows how to get all the streaming services and stuff and as cheap as possible. I don't know. I might get a VPN. I haven't decided yet. I might just watch it online.
Well,
I got GCN
Plus
and stuff.
It was $50 special offer. Global Cycling there.
GCN Plus is cheaper.
Yeah, I was.
People were excited about it this year.
I've been watching in the background on the phone. I mean, I got a ton of work and stuff, so I can't. It's a sucky side of things right now because
I was
can't
down there, man.
focus.
I can't keep track of the shit coming in and out of the Deluxx Bikes, and he's fixing some
busy,
bikes.
Man, it's busy. I mean, you don't have a lot of bikes to sell right now, so the worldwide shortage it sucks. But people are still fixing stuff. They want to get out there and ride. The rail trail was packed yesterday, Saturday, Sunday. It was full to the rafters, and we passed a lot of people out on our ride yesterday. I mean, me and Mr. Joe had a good one, and I mean, as I sit here, I'm getting messages from people that want to pick bikes up that are in there, which is kind of cool. It's what it's all about. I mean, when I'm out, I see a lot of people riding out through Gretna during the week and stuff, and there's just a lot of people out riding bike. I mean, the gravel stuff is full. Everybody's doing that stuff.
So what do you see with the future? Well, you were just saying today, cyclocross, Max Series is what, canceled?
Yeah, Max Series got canceled. I think there'll be some individual races.
Are we going to see any road racing at all this year? In the North Americas?
There is no road racing in North America. I mean, there's going to be spotty events. I think some circuit races and parking lot crits and stuff, whatnot. If you're talking pros and Cat 1-2s and stuff, it's going to be another light season because you have different. They have different rules and regulations everywhere you go in the country. And
we were going to put Race Avenue on, and speaking of different rules and regs, and then they said you need to get a permit 6 months in advance. We're like, what the hell? We always do it in June.
No,
down by F&M. So
that's a shame. I mean, it really. I think you're into a transition period in the United States for bike racing, and honestly, it probably would have happened with or without the COVID. It was headed that way. Pro racing. Point. There's a rumor or there's a talk that the Tour of Utah is going to be back next year with some more sponsor and stuff, which would be nice.
Maybe Tour de Gretna.
Absolutely, Tour de Gretna. And then there's the rumor still going around that you have the UCI race down in Baltimore Labor Day weekend, which could get pretty dicey to say the least. Read between the lines on that one. But no, I mean, I think mountain bike racing is going to really have a resurgence in this country.
648 registered
at the first Mass Series
at Fairhill last week.
It's great to see. I mean, no problems, no issues. Apparently, COVID doesn't know how to get the mountain bike races or gravel rides.
Yeah, folks. So remember that on your screen, Josh is going to be flashing FanDuels and DraftKings. And what you want to do is get involved by betting. And to get started, if you tap on and subscribe to those links, then you will be referred by me, by Gretna Bill. You will get a $50 stash to bet with. And as long as you use some of that money to bet with, don't withdraw it and go buy yourself free beers, but bet with it within 28 days, like during the Giro, then that $50 is yours. So it's a great thing to do, and it'll keep you involved. And I urge you guys to go on maybe both sites, actually, if you can get in there. It's a limited time offer. So again, FanDuel, DraftKings, get on the link that Josh is showing behind me now, and let's get after it. Yeah, so, I went down to Fairhill 2 Saturdays ago, and there were 648 people registered. And honestly, John, We went off in waves of 3 or 4 and everybody spaced themselves out. And then I didn't even see that many people on the course, 648 people. And I didn't see that many people. And then afterwards, everybody kind of, stayed in their own little areas with their own little teams and, or friends or whatever. And really, I saw very little up close, groups of people.
It's the same thing I heard from people that were there. Joe was down and different people I know within the game. And they all said that everybody's just, and it's pretty much the way it's always been. It's no, it's just, it is what it is. It's just common sense. I mean, it sucks that Cross is kind of getting canceled a little early. Some of this stuff. I mean, I think there'll be some individual races. I don't know if it'll be a 20-some race season in the Middle Atlantic like it used to be ever again. I mean, I think if we get 10 races in the Middle Atlantic this year, it'll be a good year. As much as that, as horrible and sucky as that sounds, it is what it is. Nationals is supposed to be, I'm not sure where Nationals is. I think it's in Chicago in December, outside of Chicago. And then you got Worlds next February in Arkansas. If that happens, I mean, that could change, we'll see what happens with Worlds as far as where it's going to be. But yeah, I mean, we're in a transition period. I think mountain bike racing really, really comes back. I think you're going to see mountain bike racing take off again, sort of like mid 90s. I really believe that.
Boy,
and the gravel stuff's getting, I mean, now you have gravel races kind of developing.
Ruther put on a good show down there.
Bob knows what he's doing. He puts on good events. The course is legit. I'm just hoping, there may never, it's stupid to say get back to normal because things are never going to get back to what normal was a year ago. We'll see what happens. I mean,
I want a quick shout out to Steve Gergley because he beat his own record from Philly to Pittsburgh, 21 hours and something.
On a bike.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's hard to do that in a car.
I know.
It costs you a fortune on the turnpike. No, that's awesome, dude. That's
so we want to get him on the show and talk to him about how he did that. I know he had a Lupine light lighting the way because obviously he rode straight for 21 hours and he broke his own record. That's pretty impressive.
Damn.
We still want to get Aaron Snyder on the show. So if you're out there, we can Zoom you, man. And a lot of good stuff happening around Gretna.
There's a really interesting show coming up, possibly with one of the dare I say, living legends of the Mount Gretna area. Sasquatch.
Oh yeah.
There's rumor of a cooking show. And Billy loves to eat. Billy is an expert at eating, and drinking. He's got his, well, that goes without saying. Billy's got his Cat 1 card for sure at eating. So, I know Sasquatch has commented that when he starts cooking up over there, it's like Billy normally gets there. It's like he's a vampire. He just turns his back and Bill's there, with his knife and fork. And
I can smell his cooker and smoker. Outdoor and it walks.
Billy, everybody can smell your smoker too, so it all works out.
That's a different kind of smoke.
That's okay though. That's what keeps you healthy.
He had a nice pork belly over there the other day. I could smell it a mile away. I was over there for lunch.
I follow him on Instagram just to see the food. I mean, he's the bike riding foodie.
John, great show, man. I'm so pumped. Billy. We start on Saturday morning, folks. Get out there, get on FanDuel.
Seemed a little slow.
Get on DraftKings. We got to
get back in. This is the first one since fall, so
there's a little bit of rust on the beginning.
We'll get our legs under us, and I guarantee it'll be better once because Billy will do his little. You'll do the Italian thing again.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
You got to do that. You got to.
I just bought a DOCG certified bottle of wine, so. We'll be back at
Josh,
you here.
We'll be banging wine back here the next show or the following show. You got it.
Josh, let's wrap this up. You got anything for us? What do you think?
No, I don't have anything.
He's going to go out and take some pictures this afternoon in the rain. That'll be cool.
I'm going to be banging this away all day.
That's all right.
All right. Great show, John.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend.
Get out there and watch the Giro, folks.
Get out and ride your bike.
Yeah, get out there, ride your bike, watch the Giro. It's all good, man. Love all of you. All right. Peace out.
Take care.